Mayong gabi, attorney. Mayong gabi, everyone. Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of
Ang
our
gabi.
Almighty as we do the sign of the cross in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Um, Ginoo na mo nga dalagon. Salamat o Lord God na inyong kagabion na kami nagapundok na usab sa tungod ug alang sa pagtapon ug Ginoo aning mga punto sa um, labor law nga dahan sa amo ang resource speaker nga si Atty. Jessica Jimenez. Kami mapasalamaton o Lord God despite sa mga challenges sa Lord Jesus Christ nga na-experience ni attorney, niya siya na mo karon may kapatapiskay sa mga panggawaton o Lord God. Kung kami sa Lord Jesus Christ nga nagauban kaniya aning amo ang panagtigom karon virtually. Daghang salamat o Ginoo sa grasya sa mga inyong panglawas ug sa mga umaabot pa nga ma-experience namo nga grasya o Lord God gikan kanimo. Kini among gipangayo pinaagi ni Kristo nga among Ginoo inubanan sa atong inahan nga si Virgin Maria. Amen. Sa kalasamahan sa anak ug sa Espiritu Santo.
Mic test, mic test.
Go ahead, please.
Atter- Attorney Darling Shermes Wagas, Associate Dean, Gulyas Law School. Dr. Maria Crispy Velasco, Student Affairs Director of the University of the Visayas. Guest lawyers, fellow alumni, students, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Our distinguished speaker has a solid corporate experience in leading and managing human capital and organizations, namely, for 5 years as Vice President for Human Resources, Legal and Corporate Affairs of one of the biggest global beverage company, Pepsi Cola. For 12 years as Director for Employee and Labor Relations and as Director for Labor and Industrial Relations, litigation of the biggest Philippine consumer food and beverage conglomerate, San Miguel Corporation, as Human Resource and Employee Relations Director of the biggest Philippine oil, energy, and shipping transport conglomerate, Petron or Petrophil Philippine National Oil Company for 3 years, and as former consultant to various business organizations dealing in oil, food, transport, hotel, banks, and other leading businesses. He has extensive mastery of human resource and labor laws as a professor of law in various universities such as University of Santo Tomas, University of the East, Far Eastern University, and San Beda, Alabat. He is also a resource person in PMPP, UP Soler, Chamber of Commerce, and other professional and industry groups for over 30 years. His books on employee discipline, Philippine labor standards, and Philippine labor relations laws are very insightful and very helpful to law students, professors, and members of the bench and bar. A much after sought a much sought after resource person and inspirational speaker, ladies and gentlemen, a proud Visayanian and a certified provinciano, former Dole Yusek Josephus Birondo Jimenez. Take it away, Yusek.
Thank you, Attorney Carion. Permi matang i-introduce. So, welcome again after the interruption for only one weekend, one Monday. And welcome Associate Dean Wagas, Dr. Velasco, Attorney Panilagaw, and Attorney Dimco. And we have visitors now. We have Mr. Voltaire Villu, we have Mr. Norman Forbes, and There are others that I have invited. I hope that they can catch up. Today we will be tackling one of the most timely topic for today. There are many companies who are contemplating to undertake retrenchment programs driven by the economic crisis that was caused by, or that is being caused by, the health pandemic issue. So today we will be focusing on Article 298 in Book 6 of the Labor Code and related articles. But most of all, we have to examine the jurisprudence on retrenchment, redundancy, labor saving device, closure, retirement, resignation, corporate mergers, consolidations, takeover, buying off of companies, many corporate transformation that would result to the dislocation of certain employees. And we have already taken up those that are caused by the fault or the omission, the negligence or the culpable acts committed by the employees under Article 297. So today we will also take up the rules and regulations implementing Book 6, which has been amended by Department Order 147-15. And in doing that, we have to always remember that when you are asked to make a decision about termination of employment, we should always remember, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a collision. Two big forces will collide. On the one hand is the force of security of tenure, which is a constitutional right. And on the other hand, the prerogative of management. When you own a business or when you manage a business, there are decisions about people that you have to make. And some of these decisions may affect the rights of the employees. So we will examine the law that seeks to balance. While the state is mandated by the Constitution to afford full protection to labor, there is always a caveat that protection to labor does not mean that we should deprive management or the employers of their transfer, promote layoff discipline, and undertake corporate transformation that may result to loss of employment. The whole day today, I was lecturing to more than 100 volunteers. And our convention will continue until tomorrow. We have so many voluntary arbitrators from Cebu, led by our Vice Mayor, Michael Rama. And we have Attorney Manning Legaspi, Attorney Espina, Attorney Alice Morada, Attorney Jordan, and many others. In fact, one of our members is former Councilor Joy Pisquera. So I also took up some cases about retrenchment this morning, but That was a combination of all cases decided by voluntary arbitrators and were affirmed by the Supreme Court, including 3 of my decisions, my own decisions, that were affirmed by the Supreme Court. And one of the cases that I decided, which was affirmed, was the invalid shutdown of a company entitled International Garments, where the management unilaterally, without prior notice, shut down the operation. And the shutdown was declared as illegal, and the company was ordered to pay the wages of the employees, even if no work was done, as an exception to the principle of no work, no pay, since the failure of the workers to work was not driven by their act or their omission, but by the unilateral act without prior notice that was undertaken by management. So every time we decide a labor case, always keep in mind that you are trying to balance. It is not a one-sided decision that you will say, I will retrench, I will declare redundancy, or I will declare closure of the company. We have to be mindful that such a decision, although within our management prerogative, must be done within the framework of the law. And we should always be mindful of the injunction of the Civil Code in Article 19. Every employer must, in the exercise of its prerogative, must act with justice, give the worker his due, and observe honesty and good faith. On that score, now we will go to the formula that I am using. When we use dismissal, the term dismissal is used for termination based on just cause. Just cause. If it is just cause, you use the word dismissal. If it is authorized cause, we use the word separation or termination. But I did not use separation because if I use legal separation, it may be misunderstood as a case in the involving the family code. So the reason why you use the term separation is because there is a payment of separation pay. While in Article 297, considering that the severance of the relationship is driven by or caused by or triggered by an act or an omission that constitutes a just cause as enumerated in Article 297. So we use the word dismissal. Dismissal or termination. Here, separation or termination. So the renumbering of the labor code caused a change in the article number. It used to be 283, which is now 298. There is always an addition of 15 because from Book 5, starting Article 211, which is now 218, there has been a renumbering. And there is a readjustment of number because prior to the renumbering, there were articles that were numbered 262-A. So now under the new renumbering, there is no more -A. So today we will discuss labor-saving devices. That includes computerization, the use of high-tech machinery, or even robots, and even the use of artificial intelligence. There are now companies that are using artificial intelligence, even the analysis of certain data, instead of being done by the human beings manually, there is a program that can be used, software that can substitute the human mind. So that is the irony of the genius of man. The irony of the genius of man is that he creates machines that can replace him. So, for instance, in San Miguel, there is a factory in San Miguel which is located in Cavite. The work of 100 people can be done only by 2 robots. 2 robots. And they work without any light. Even in the dark, they can achieve their objectives. So can you imagine how many people are losing their job because of the invention of robots, robotics? Computerization will streamline operations and eliminate certain positions. I'm sure that the University of the Visayas accounting department, or even the office of the registrar can, since the administrators of the institution now are 3rd generation, very young, dynamic executives, they can think of computerization that will reduce the employees, the number of employees tremendously. No? So time will come that even the teachers, the professor can be replaced by a machine. So we should think of other ways by which we can survive, because the trend is mechanization, because the cost of labor is going very rapidly higher. So if the cost of labor is increasing at a very geometric speed, then man will be compelled to invent machine to reduce the labor cost. But it has implications. No? So from the legal point of view, we are going to discuss the purpose of the law is to make sure that if people are going to lose their job, they must be given some amount of money to tide them over while they are looking for other employment. So since the trend is towards that direction, we have to revisit our law on authorized causes. So the implementing rules, implementing Article 297 and 298 is couched in negative words. It is a prohibition. No employee shall be terminated. In fact, this is a wrong English. Employees should not be terminated. That is murder. Employment, no employment shall be terminated, no, except for just, authorized, and those that are agreed upon. Because as I have discussed earlier, a fixed term employment, no, is it carries the end of the term as an agreed upon severance. No? So the parties are not precluded from entering into such a relationship. But in the case of Brent versus Zamora, as I have earlier discussed, it should be important that the two parties, the employer and the employee, should deal with each other on an equal plane, that there is no moral ascendancy, there is no undue pressure, there is no vitiated consent due to force, intimidation, deceit, or gross misrepresentation. No? So we will start with redundancy. The law does not define redundancy, but the jurisprudence, and that this is a leading case. No, when we talk of redundancy, the leading case is this case of Wiltshire File Company, and the keyword here is excess. So when there is redundancy, there is always an excess. So as compared to retrenchment, which the keyword there is also losses, serious financial losses. But here, well, even if the company is not losing, so ang pagkakamali ng mga estudyante minsan, pag nag-handle sila ng case ng redundancy, they are looking for financial losses. Here, it is not required. Even if the company is earning a lot, it has good profit. But even if you are profitable, it does not deprive you of the prerogative to look for solutions that will improve even more your level of profitability. So we do not require an employer to submit unaudited financial statements when the ground that he is using is redundancy. That's why in redundancy, the separation pay is always 1 month for every year of service. But in retrenchment, it is 1/2 month for every year of service. But the minimum is always 1 month. So I'll give you an example of sa retrenchment. Even if the employee has worked only for 3 days, and then the company was hit by pandemic, and the employer suffered serious financial losses because of inability to operate the company. So even if the employee is still on probation, most probably if the criteria used is last in, first out, he will be the first to go. And even if he worked only for 3 days, he will be entitled to a minimum separation pay of 1 month. In redundancy, there is no problem because it's always 1 month. It's always 1 month, no? And in retrenchment, do not use the case of Capital Wireless in retrenchment because that is only for retirement purposes. When we compute 1/2 month to be 22.5 days, that is not for retrenchment, that is for retirement. But here in retrenchment, it's 15 days. So remember here in redundancy that there is an excess. Excess of what? Excess in the number of personnel versus the number of required personnel. Now, why did you hire him if you did not require him? Well, maybe at the time of hiring, those were the good times. The company was doing very well. But later on, no, the company wants to improve its level of operation, so they adopt computerization or robotics or artificial intelligence, and therefore some of the employees are in excess. They are in excess. So the challenge is how to choose those that are in excess. Well, if the position, if the reduction of personnel is based on specific units or position, for instance, abolishing the administrative section and merging the administrative function with HR function. So all that unit, all the employees in that unit will have to be allowed to go, but the management has the prerogative to transfer some of the good employees in that unit so that they can be saved and use another criteria, which is last in, first out, or whether it can, using, for instance, performance evaluation for the last 3 years. If there are very high performers in a unit, but the unit is abolished, the company has the prerogative to save the people who are very good people, transfer them to the unit that will not be abolished, and then those that are in the unit that will not be abolished, but because they are hit by the criteria, they will be the one to let go, and they cannot complain. Why should we be the one to be allowed to go when our unit is not abolished? Whereas those whose units are abolished are allowed to remain. Because the answer to that is because management has the choice what criteria to use, as long as that criteria is universally applied. And that criteria should not be anti-union. No? In other words, hitting all the union leaders. So another word for excess is superfluity. No? So napasobrang hiring, nag-over-hiring ng workers, these are the causes. Why did we come into this situation? Why did we come into a situation where we have more people than position required? Or maybe our volume has decreased. Why? Many of our clients have withdrawn, or maraming nangyayari pareho sa airline industry, sa hotel industry. Maraming dati na very strong ang sales nila, even the fast food industry is suffering. So they can have redundancy because there are now or superfluity or excess. Or number 3, a product line has been dropped. You know Kodak. There was a time, Dr. Velasco, that we cannot take picture without film. You remember that? You know, when I brought my children to Disneyland in Los Angeles, and then later to Disney World in Florida, in Orlando, Florida, we have to buy a lot of films because the picture that we have to take should have film. But now, nobody is using film. So the people in that line, that manufactured films have become redundant. No, so dropping of a particular product line, dropping of of previous service. Previous yan, hindi yan precious. Previous, can you imagine, isang litra lang magbabago ang meaning. Precious ang nakalagay, previous service or activity. Hindi yan of activity. Dropping of previous service or activity. Halimbawa, meron kang beauty parlor. Dr. Velasco. Tapos sabi mo, wala na akong manicurista kasi ang naiwan na lang puro mga hair cutter, hindi naman marunong silang mag-manicure. So we will drop this service. We are no longer servicing this. So kung meron pang naiwan, hindi na siya, wala na siyang trabaho unless he is multi-skilled. That's why in a time of economic difficulties, it is important that you are multi-skilled because you can be redeployed or transferred to another unit with different skills. So based on jurisprudence, these are the reasons or the causes of redundancy. So in this case of Wiltshire, the Supreme Court said that if you have an excess baggage, you have no obligation to carry that baggage. Just sabihin ng employee, paano naman ako, may security of tenure ako, bakit ninyo ako ilalaglag? No? Hindi ka na because you are an excess baggage. A redundant person is an excess baggage. No? So, pag ikaw ay excess ka kasi sa manpower count, you are above the manpower count and you are the most junior. Usually, the criteria used is last in, first out. So necessarily, the excess employee will have to go with a payment of separation pay with advance notice of 30 days, both to the employee and to the Department of Labor regional office. No? So work duplication is not essential to justify redundancy. Kahit ba walang nagduduplicate ng trabaho, sabi mo, bakit niyo ako tanggalin? Iba yung trabaho ko sa trabaho niya. So pwede kaming mag-coexist na dalawa. No? Pero it's not about the work, it's about the number. Kasi yung trabaho mo, pwedeng i-job enrichment yung position niya, i-absorb na niya yung trabaho mo. Multi-skilled siya with the use of technology, he can do the job that you used to do. As between you and him, because he is the more senior and he is the more efficient and he has a better service record, performance evaluation better, then you have to go and he will remain. Even if your two positions are not duplicating each other. So do not use the word duplication. Use the word excess when it comes to redundancy. Alam nyo kasi yung proper term kasi, ayan ang hanapin ng examiner eh. Just because it was not the employee's fault that caused the company's financial difficulties does not justify the retention of redundant personnel. So, hindi pwedeng sabihin ng union na hindi naman kami may kasalanan dyan, bakit nahirapan ang kumpanya. Alam nyo, ang best example dito, ang Philippine Airlines. Because ang nag-cause talaga sa downfall ng Philippine Airlines ay yung mga pilot na nag-strike in 1990. I hope you remember that. Maybe you were very young. I was a lawyer of San Miguel and it was the birthday of my daughter. I could not go home to Manila because there was a strike in Mactan. Stranded ako sa Mactan. Buti na lang Marami akong kaibigan, mga militar. Binasakay ako ng sasakyan ng mga militar, and yun lang panahon nakasakay ako ng eroplano na nakatayo. Pwede ka palang magtayo sa mga papuntang Manila. So, the point driven here is, nagreklamo ang mga ground personnel, yung mga aircraft technician, at saka yung mga worker na nasa, yung mga girls na nasa ticketing, nasa boarding, nasa check-in counter. Why should we be the one to be redundated, although that is not correct English word, redundated, no? Because redundancy is a noun, it is not a verb. Just say declared redundant. Why should we be the one to be declared redundant when we were not the cause of the financial problem of PAL? It was the pilot who caused serious damage to the company. Dinala nila yung mga airplano sa iba-ibang, sa Tokyo, meron sa Australia, sa Sydney, meron sa Taipei, iniwan sa San Francisco. Tapos, iniwan na nila yung plane doon sa ibang airport. Tinago pa nila yung mga susi. So, bumagsak talaga at talagang umiyak na si Mr. Lucio Tan doon because nung binili niya yung airline na yan from the government, losing na. So, naipok niya sa ulo. Ang mga pilot ang nag-cause ng damage, ang nag-suffer ang mga ground personnel. Kasi ang sabi ni Mr. Lucio Tan, kahit ang pilot ang nag-cause ng problema, hindi naman ako pwedeng mag-operate ng aeroplano na walang pilot. Pero yung pagtrabaho ng boarding, pagbenta ng ticket at saka yung check-in, pwede ko yung i-outsource. Kaya yung mga nag-check-in sa atin ngayon, hindi na yan organic employees of Philippine Airlines. It was upheld, the prerogative of the company to hire outsourced workers to perform the job that we usually formerly performed by regular employees. So ang tanong dyan, hindi ba unfair labor practice ito? Kasi the incumbent were union members? Well, strictly speaking, there is a provision that says that you cannot replace a union member with a non-union member because that would be tantamount to interference, restriction, and coercion in the exercise of the right to self-organization. But the Supreme Court said, all these political rights will yield to the economic reality. Kasi kung pagdating ng panahon na ang kumpanya ay nahirapan na, bleeding na at wala na nga dugo no? Hindi na dumudugo para kumpanya. Kahit gaano pa ang rights mo, hindi mo na ma-enforce yan because wala ng pera. Third, in this case, that the one that is affected by the redundancy need not be the proximate cause of the financial problem. No? So ito, medyo masakit ito kasi hindi naman kami may kasalanan, nahimik kami dito, tapos law-abiding kami, tapos kami pa ang mawalan ng trabaho. Hindi naman, hindi pa na-imbento yung aeroplano na robot ang magpapatakbo. Although ngayon nakikita ko yung mga pilot, pag naka-take off, sabi mo, i-adjust na lang ng computer. Yan ang trabaho lang ng pilot talaga, yung pag-take off at saka pag-land. Yun lang. All the rest, computer na nagdadala. Pero hindi pa natin ipagtiwala na sino kaya ang mga pasahirong sasakay na alam mo na robot yung pilot. No? Mahirap yun. Wala pa ngang driver na pilot na robot. Yan ang sinabi ko, Dr. Velasco. Sabi ko sa mga estudyante ko, kayo, mag-aral kayo ng 4 years sa AB, mag-aral din kayo ng 4 years sa College of Law. Tapos makuha pa mo bar 1 year, 9 years kayo mag-aral. Pero hindi pa mo makasiguro kung makapasa ba kayo ng bar. So, itong kukuha kang pagkaabogado, sobra ng sugal, hindi pa masiguro kung 2 taong ka lang mabuhay, mamatay ka kaagad. Pareho nung si Attorney Alan ni Cesario, anak ni Dean ni Cesario, nga bright, very bright na lawyer from UB, tapos namatay, batang-bata. So, sabi ko sa inyo, sa estudyante ko, biniro ko lang, gusto niyo ng mataas ng katungkulan, edi mag-pilot kayo kasi mataas talaga, taas yun Pati kung ayaw nyo mag-pilot, flight steward kayo. Yan ang katungdanan. Gihanghalang doon kayo magkatungdanan, kay naagon mo taas. 37,000 feet above sea level. Nya ang sweldo ninyo, 250,000, 350,000, pinakamalaking plane, abot pag 400,000 a month. So, saan ka makakita niya? Mag-abogado kayo kung makakuha kayo ng ganun. Wala pang bar yan Yung pilot, walang bar. Oh. Sinasabi ko lang, no? Para mag-isip-isip sila. Pero hindi naman. Sabi niya, magtiis kami, sir, kasi total nahumod na maligo na lang kami, manglugod na lang kami, kay ulahin na ang tanan. No? Okay. Declaring redundancy is a legitimate business judgment. In other words, if it is a business judgment, the state cannot deprive the employer of its inherent prerogative because that is arising from the property right, the right to use, the right to dispose, the right to encumber, the right to manage. When you own a property, you have the right to manage the property. So if your management dictates that you have to declare redundancy to save the company, that is your prerogative. And you enjoy the presumption of regularity unless you commit bad faith. If you use that prerogative to commit unfair labor practice, no, and or to violate the right to security of tenure, yan. Kailangan balanse mo yan. And according to the Supreme Court, in this case, the soundness of your decision is not subject to judicial review. Alam mo, that is very strong statement. In other words, kung ako may-ari ng negosyo, tapos ikaw ang gobyerno, bakit ka makialam sa mga desisyon ko? As if you are now the one managing the company. That is very good in theory, in practice. If you are the counsel for the company, you can say, well, the soundness or the wisdom of the decision to declare redundancy is not a justiciable issue. It is not subject to judicial review. Because to subject your decision to judicial review, no, would be tantamount to depriving you of your property without due process of law. At tapos sabihin mo, sir, kung totoo yan, bakit may karapatang mag-file ng illegal dismissal case yung na-declare declare redundant. Sagot diyan ganito. Yung sinabi ng Supreme Court that your decision cannot be subject to judicial review is your decision prior to the act of termination. When you make a decision that this position should be abolished, walang prior restraint. But the moment the exercise of your prerogative is alleged to be a violation of the right of the worker, then there is a cause of action. And that cause of action should be taken cognizance of by the court or the labor tribunal. And in that sense, therefore, the labor tribunal reviews the soundness of the decision based on the criteria. So magandang pakinggan yan na cannot review. Maganda yan, that is music to the employer. But in real life situation, that refers only to prior. No? Hindi ka pa ng tao, no? Then the moment you serve the notice of termination, then there arises a cause of action that will give the offended party, the victim, 4 years in illegal dismissal. He has 4 years to question the validity of that dismissal as a prescriptive period based on the decision in Carnation. Carnation versus Calyanta. 4 years illegal dismissal. Money claims is 3 years. Alam mo, this morning I discussed the case of Lodo and Loim. Kasi there was a graduate of UB, a very poor person like me. He comes from Dumanhog and Ronda. His name is Attorney Ferdinand Saornido. Attorney Ferdinand Saornido was a security guard, but he had an ambition and he studied law in UB. He asked his superior not to assign him to night shift because he was studying in UB. You know, he became a lawyer. And then as a lawyer, he became a voluntary arbitrator. And as a voluntary arbitrator, he was assigned to handle the case of Lodo and Loim. And it has relation to our discussion because it was a case of arrestary service. Kasi the Lodo and Loim, alam naman ninyo yan, that is the biggest copra trader. Ang lahat ng manimbang ng kopras, simula ng Santander hanggang Daan Bantayan sa buong Cebu, lahat ng mga Chinese businessman na manimbang o kopras, doon yan ibaligya doon sa Lodo and Loim kasi gagamitin niya, gagawin niyang sabon, gagawin niyang coconut oil. Lodo and Loim Corporation, magkapatid yan eh. Apelido nila Lo. Tapos si Do at si YM, no? Lodo and Loim. Alam mo ba yan, Dr. Velasco? Anong araw, nung bata pa kami, at hindi ka pa sinilang, ang pinakamataas na building sa Cebu ay ang Lodo. At yan ang unang nagkaroon tayo ng revolving restaurant. Nagkaroon ng Angulias Law School, doon nag-juniors and seniors prom. Ang pinakagwapa nung araw si Attorney Gloria Lastimosa Marcos, nakaroon ay na 20 na. Mauna yan mong kinagwapahan sa College of Law. Dito may junior and senior prom dito. Dalang Ring Hope. Unya, kanang kaso sa Lodo and Loim, tatlo ang issue. Ang unang issue is the status of the employees of the arrestry service. Kasi yung kagwang may-ari ng arrestry, dili man siya, he was not licensed by the Department of Labor to engage in the business of contracting. So Article 106 ito sa Labor Code. So Arbitrator Ferdinand Saornido decided that the issue of the status as regular employees, not of the arastri, but of Lodo and Loem. So about 200 arastri workers were ordered to be absorbed by Lodo and Loem. Now, ang sunod na issue, since the only issue submitted to Ferdinand Saornido to arbitrate was the issue of the status of the workers. Saornido take cognizance of a case involving, declare man yung mga employer ang Lodo and Loem, sino magbabayad ng yung mga deficiency niya sa minimum wage, sa 13-month pay, sa overtime pay, at kung ayaw na niyong i-absorb ngayon, sino magbabayad ng separation pay? Ang sabi ni arbitrator Saornido, who is from UB, Bisayan yan, he said, although the submission agreement limited my jurisdiction to only one issue, which is the regular status of the employees, I can also take cognizance of the issue of money claims. Because if I do not do that, that will result to splitting the cause of action and multiplicity of suits, which in the case of Alo versus Mendoza, the Supreme Court said, splitting the cause of action and multiplicity of suits are obnoxious. These are the words of the Supreme Court, close in quotation, obnoxious to the orderly administration of justice. So, nilungig kayo ni si Ferdinand Saornido kay wag yun magtuo ang mga tag-iya sa Lodo and Loem nga kining tagayubi mo desisyon nga milyon-milyon ang bayaran ng Lodo and Loem. Niya karon do na pag third issue which is related to the prescriptive period. Ito, Attorney Carion, tandaan mo ito. Ang issue ay kailan mag-umpisa? Kasi ang prescriptive period ng money claims is 3 years. Ang tanong, kailan ka mag-umpisa magbilang ng 3 years? Sagutin ninyo yan. Kailan, halimbawa, mag-claim ka ng non-payment of minimum wage. Running man yan. Kung 10 years na yan, 10 years na silang na-underpaid kasi hindi binayaran ng minimum wage. Kailan mo umpisahan yung 3 years? No? Alam mo, ang sabi nila, at the time daw of the dismissal, knowing na kahit hindi pa sila dinismiss, entitled sila ng money claims. Katapos, mahaba yung money claims. Yun ang tanong. Ano mo, napagandang desisyon ni Saornido na dapat niyong tandaan yun. Basahin na ninyo yan. Lodo and Loem resolution ni Saornido. The 3-year period will start to accrue only on the day that management refused to pay. So kahit na matagal na nila yung dapat matanggap, wala pa namang formal demand. So ang lawyer magpadala ng formal demand, magbayad ka mo, Lodo, kay dako mong utang sa mga tao. Yeah, gidugay-dugay man tubag, the answer of Lodo was not given immediately. You know, the counting of the 3-year period is on the day that management answered that no, we are not going to pay. We are not liable because you are employees and you were just ordered to be absorbed by us. Maybe we will pay you up on the day of absorption, but we will not pay you for those years na wala pa kayo sa amin. Yan ang sabi ng Ludo. Oh. But since you are jointly and severally liable under Article 106, your joint and several for engaging in a labor with a labor-only contractor would retroact 10 years ago. And this amount will continue to accumulate, and the 3-year period of prescription will start to accrue only on the day of the refusal to pay. Can you imagine this very important principle I am giving you? Okay, ito another case, Santos versus San Miguel. San Miguel ito Court of Appeals. Alam mo, doon sa San Miguel, in 1986, yun ang panahon na pumasok ako sa San Miguel. Yung mga dating salesmen, alam mo kasi, itong mga taga San Miguel, mga tapulan niya nung araw, bakit? Wala pa silang kalaban, wala pang Asia Bear nung Alika. Beko, pareho ka og mera. Ayusin mong trabaho, monopoly ka Hindi pwedeng maghanap yung tao ng ipalit sa iyo. Ikaw ba kung magalit ka sa Beko, pwede mo bang sabihin, bukas palitan natin tong Beko? Hindi ganoon. Kasi monopoly yun Ganon mga salesmen ng San Miguel na kayo ba ang mga customary in town mi og napulo ka kes kay magpista mi dito sa bukid sa Balasdiot, bukid sa Cantularoy dito sa Bukiran sa Balbual. Sa mi mo deliver ng layo kay ng inyo, no? Digid mo magpagahi-gahi gyud, no? So nung nag-take over na si Andres Soriano III from the original management ni Danding Cuangco. Original kasi si Danding, panahon ni Marcos, sikat si Danding Tapos nung nag-take over si Cory, ang San Miguel na uli doon sa mga Soriano, which is the original owner. So, nung nag-revolusyon, nawala si Danding Cuangco, pumalit si Soriano. Pagdating Soriano, pinalitan yung sistema. Sabi niya, kayo mga sales, pulan mo, ang ilisa na mo mga ADM, Account Development Manager. Kasi kamo, sige lang mo mag-deliver ng mga dagkong outlet, pareho ng yung mga dagkong mga establishment, kanang mga dagkong hotel, ato ra mo mag-deliver. Kanang mga gagmay, mga bayad, di nyo deliveran kay mga tapulan mo. So karon magbuhat mig bagong sistema which was upheld by the Supreme Court as a valid exercise of management prerogative in the case of San Miguel Employees Union, PTGWO versus Blas Ople. No? So, this case, Mr. Santos and others lost their job because their jobs were abolished, but new jobs were created, which in effect replace them. So ang kini-question nila ito, pinalitan lang ang title pagkatapos ang trabaho dili gipalitan niya. That is an invalid action. You know, in this case, that was the exercise by management of its business judgment to change the system of selling. Kasi Dr. Velasco, when the word sell, pag ako halimbawa salesman ako ng San Miguel, tatawagan ko si Oliver Carion, siya may dakong tindahan sa Barilli. Ang ngayon, Mr. Carion, pila ka case i-deliver pista sa Barilli, mingon si Mr. Carion. 100 cases lang, no? 100 cases. Sale is already done. The sale is already consummated by the meeting of the minds, and the delivery can be outsourced, can be done by a third party because delivery is not part of sales. So, yan ang nangyayari ngayon. Itong mga dati, sila yung magbenta, sila rin yung mag-deliver. Hindi na, binago na ng San Miguel. Iba yung magbenta through electronics, and then iba yung mag-deliver. Kasi ang deliver, pwedeng i-outsource. Magbabago talaga ang sistema ng negosyo because of technology. So, here, the Supreme Court understood that this is not a circumvention of the law. This is a valid exercise of management prerogative. That when there is somebody that will be appointed to replace those who will dismiss, iba man ang posisyon nila, iba yung position description, mas mababa, walang masyadong decision making. Samantala ito, managerial position na ito eh. ADM na ang tawag eh. Account Development Manager eh. They will manage their account. Halimbawa, sasabihin na ikaw ang account development sa buong Colon. Simula sa eskina sa Borromeo, hanto dito sa paingon na dito sa Dihocosalin. No? Mauna sakop nimo, that is your account. Lahat ng outlet dyan, ikaw mag-manage. Account Development Manager ka. Yun. Yung dati, salesman, wala na. Abolish na yung salesman. Account Development Manager na. Okay, the government cannot be inquired into by the government. Ano ba yung istorya na yan? The old position of the old employees doing traditional sales system were abolished. Nahubog tong gasulti ato. Streamlining of sales operation is management prerogative. So when you change your your selling procedure, that is a prerogative. And a pure position is abolished because you belong to the old system and a new position is created. That is not a violation of your security of tenure. So yan when the services of the employees constitute a superfluity. So the key word is superfluity or excess. Yan ang redundancy talaga. Duplication of work, cost cutting, no? So those will justify the redundancy. What is the evidence required to justify redundancy? In this case of Kawili versus Eastern Telecom, the Supreme Court held that the following may be preferred to substantiate redundancy. The new staffing pattern. You know, kung magawa kayo ng redundancy program, gumawa kayo ng old organization versus the new organization. Sa old organization, may staffing pattern. Sa new organization, may staffing pattern. Now, the excess, no? Kasi the old organization has more position. The new organization has less position. Therefore, somebody and some people have to go because there are more people than position. To reduce the number of position is a management prerogative. But you have to prove it by showing a duly approved staffing pattern. Sino mag-approve dito? Is the board of directors. The HR will prepare the plan for the new organization as compared to the old organization. So you have to present evidence to prove the old organization. and then you present evidence to prove the new organization, both are approved by the board of trustees or the board of directors. Because that is a decision that does not belong to HR. It belongs to the highest policy-making body, the creation of a position or the creation of a contractual obligation. Because for every position, there is a burden, a financial burden. Because a table of organization will have to be backed up with a budget. Ganon yan eh. Kung sa gobyerno meron tayong stopping pattern, meron din tayong budget. Kung wala kang item, hindi nakalista doon sa stopping pattern, so you cannot be appointed because there is no existing position. Oh, di ba? So in the case of AMA Computer, natalo yung management doon. Bakit? Because management was not able to submit the two stopping patterns between the old stopping pattern versus the new stopping pattern. So, kayong mga nakikinig sa akin na sa HR, if you use redundancy and not retrenchment, you have to really demonstrate. Kasi kung retrenchment lang ito, madali lang ito, financial statement lang, audited financial statement na your working capital has been eroded, no? To a certain extent, the signature of the certified public accountant, which is not an internal accountant but an external, an independent external accountant. Kaya nga certified public accountant, parang notary public yun eh. Because the financial statement that is certified as true and correct by a certified public accountant it becomes a public document. Just like a notary public, the affidavit that is notarized by a notary public is now imbued with a public character. No? It becomes a public document, and it has evidentiary value to prove a certain point, to prove an issue, to resolve an issue. No? In PLDT versus Supreme Court, no, the Supreme Court rejected an inter-office memo, a self-serving yan eh, memo from the Dean's Office, for instance, to HR. Tapos, you will use that as an evidence to prove redundancy. O created lang ng management yan, self-serving yan, walang comparison of stopping pattern, old and new. No? In San Miguel versus Del Rosario, the affidavit of the sales manager was declared as, was accepted as, or was not accepted because they were found to be insufficient to satisfy the requirement of substantial evidence. Kasi, kung ito eh, self-serving eh. Samantala yung merong perma ng public accountant, there is an element of evidentiary value as taken from the certification of a certified public accountant who is independent. So the reason why these documents were not considered sufficient, number one, they were self-serving. Some of the signatories were not properly identified. You cannot just submit a Xerox copy. It's not even certified true copies. So there could have been greater weight, no, had the company presented, and take note of this, had the company presented the old stopping pattern versus the new stopping pattern. So you have to do a matrix comparative analysis of figure A, which is the old stopping pattern with 300 position, versus figure B, which is the new staffing pattern with only 150 positions. So the following positions are no longer available. And those who are occupying these positions are declared to be redundant. Now, in the choice of who will let go, who the company will let go, even if he occupies a position that is declared redundant, if he is senior, and if he has a very good performance, he can be transferred to another position that is not abolished, and that is not a violation of law. As long as your criteria is fair, in other words, it is applicable to all, regardless of gender, regardless of religion, regardless of union status. There is a universal application of a reasonable criteria. And some criteria is, number one, preferred status. Anong ibig sabihin ng preferred status? Yung ang unahin mo nang tanggalin yung mga casual, mga contractual, bago yung regular. So, the regular is a preferred status. So, huli silang mapili. Pero gamitan naman ng efficiency. Kung ang regular, sobrang dami, kailangan pa rin natin efficiency. So we look at the performance evaluation rating for all of these people for the last 3 years. And then give them a specific grade. And the lowest will go. Seniority is the easiest because it can be generated by the computer if you give a command that you arrange this according to their length of tenure. So very easy. So if you have no criteria, you will lose your case if you are management because your decision is arbitrary. Arbitrary. Grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack of jurisdiction kung court pa kayo. Ngayon, you are an employer, you are management, you have no criteria for decision making, therefore, your decision is arbitrary. Gisugat-sugat lang nimo decision or gimao-mao lang na nimo, girimo-rimo nimo, wala kay pattern, wala kay guiding principle. You have no guiding criteria. So you can be impulsive because there is no objective criteria that guides your action. Pareho lang na og babae ba, mamili siya og uyab. When you are young, 17 years old ka, ang criteria mo, tall, dark, and handsome. Tapos pag 27 years old ka na, dark na lang kasi wala nang handsome. Ang handsome, naminyo na. Ang ubang handsome, bayot man. So, ang naiwan na lang, dark na lang. Wala na po tall. Wala na tall, wala na handsome, dark na lang. Pag 27. Pag 37, basta lalaki. Pag 37, basta lalaki. Pag 47, basta tao. Pag di lalaki, basta tao. Pag 57, basta na lang. No? Basta gumagalaw. No, yan. So, ibig sabihin, ang criteria magbabago. Depende yan sa dami ng tao. Minsan, i-adjust mo yung criteria mo kasi sobrang taas ang criteria mo, wala kang makukuha. So, isa-sacrifice mo criteria mo, ibaba mo yung quality mo ngayon. No? Kasi wala kang makuha. Ganon din sa redundancy. Kailangan yung criteria mo makatotohanan. Pareho nito, efficiency, economy, versatility, flexibility. Mabigat yan. Criteria na yan. As long, the law will not tell the company what criteria to use. It's up to the company. No? But it must be applied with fairness, and it should be applied universally. So if you have no criteria, you have no valid basis. So kung ang criteria mo, sabihin mo, Ma'am Crispy, sabihin mo, tanang badlungon sa UB, mo na atong criteria. Tama ba yon? Criteria mo? Sabi ng Supreme Court, tama yan. The elimination of undesirables, abusers, and those worst performers is not an indication of bad faith. It is not an indication of bad faith kasi yung sinabi mong badlungon, kailangan i-translate mo yan into quantifiable term. Halimbawa, yung si employee A, how many absences within 1 year? Yan. Tapos how many violation of company policy? Yung word na badlungon is just a quantitative adjective, no? But you have to translate the quantitative into the qualitative. You translate the qualitative to quantitative. So, kailangan measurable. May measurable and time-bound and specific criteria. Oh, parang SMART ba? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So, gumawa ka ng criteria na measurable. Allegation of singling out of one person cannot be refuted. No? If an employee accuses management of singling him out, management can rebut, no? Can be refuted. Pwede siyang mag-rebut by proving that there were others who were similarly included in the redundancy program. Pag sinabi ng tao, bakit ako lang pinag-initan ninyo? Hindi lang ikaw, marami kayo. No? Hindi ka nag-iisa. So do not think that you are singled out. So management can easily present evidence to the contrary. Saving on labor cost is legitimate objective of company. It is not an indicator of bad faith. It is legitimate on the part of the company na mag-save in labor cost because that is an indication of good management practice. When you try to limit the cost of doing business and increase the profit because the revenue is increasing, the cost is going down, and the profit is expanding. Ganun yun. Masama ba sa isang management? Is it bad for a management to desire to save on cost? That's not an anti-labor principle. It is the legitimate aspiration of every businessman to reduce cost. The abolition of a unit and contracting out of that unit is valid according to the Supreme Court in the case of the Ocampo versus NLRC. Supreme Court nagsabi niya na because how can you save on cost if you do not abolish certain unit? Sabihin mo yung unit na yan, walang performance yan at saka we can contract out. Pareho nung ginawa ng ICTAN sa kaso ni Ruben Serrano. Yung mga security guard ng ICTAN were hired by the company, organic, direct hired. So nagkaroon na ng maraming cost, problema sa mga tao, they have decided to abolish that unit. No? Yung tinatawag lang security and checkers unit at in-outsource nila. Now, so of course the employee will question that. But the management here was able to prove that it is not motivated by bad faith. It is the honest objective of the company to improve its efficiency, and that cannot be, the soundness of that decision cannot be questioned. Yan. Talking about Serrano. Then Asian Alcohol. Just because the company outsourced the position that were formerly performed by regular employees does not mean that the company is in bad faith. Yan. Because outsourcing, according to Santos versus Court of Appeals and Serrano versus NLRC, outsourcing is not considered an indication of bad faith. When you outsource certain functions, as long as the function is not regular or necessary or undesirable, or it is not directly related to the principal business of the employer. If you comply with Article 106, that is a valid exercise of management prerogative. Ito naman, masama naman itong sa Dole Philippines kasi regular pinalitan ng casual. Parang ang asawa mo, hiniwalayan mo, pinalitan mo lang ng kabit. Di talagang illegal yung ginawa mo. Pero yung isa, outsourcing, iba yung casual sa outsourcing. Kasi outsourcing, meron talagang employment yung mga tao na yon. Ang employer nila, yung legitimate service contractor. Pero itong casual, directly hired by the principal to. Tapos walang security of tenure. Parang na-make up ka lang sa kulon ng babae. Ang asawa ni mong regular, mo nang terminate. Tapos na-make up ka lang. Yan ay illegal. No? Pero pag pumunta ka sa matching, merong mga matchmaker, yan, pwede yun. Yung mga aking mga analogy is just to spice up, but hindi ko ginagawa yun. Sabi nyo, ginagawa ba ni Yusek yan? Hindi ko ginagawa yan eh. In this case, the High Court declared that the act of the company of hiring of new accountants is inconsistent with the validity of the termination based on redundancy. Accountant ang tinanggal mo, tapos ngayon kumuha ka rin ng accountant, hindi ka naman nag-reorganization. Ayan ang masama. Kailangan, pagka kumuha ka ng another accountant, mag-upgrading ka ng job grade at magkaroon ka ng old staffing pattern versus new staffing pattern. Ito isang tao lang pinag-initan mo, tinanggal mo on the guise of redundancy. Tapos the same position, pinalitan mo rin na the same qualification. Wala namang upgrading of the skills. Hindi mo ma-justify yan. Sa kaso ng Maya Farms at saka sa De La Salle University, LIFO is allowed, no? It is accepted. Last in, first out. Management prerogative sa Soriano versus NLRC. The company has the prerogative to choose. Itong Asoprin, itong Hobson's choice, parang kwento eh. Choice between two evil eh. It is not a choice at all. When the employee, papili mo yung employee, parang pinapili mo yung tao. Anong gusto mo? Barilin kita o saksakin kita? Pareho lang niyang mamatay eh. So that is what is called Hobson choice because wala namang maganda sa dalawang choices na yan. So if you make an employee choose between two evils, para yung between Scylla and Charybdis, between the devil and the deep blue sea. Diba? That is not a choice at all. Itong general milling, alam mo ito, kwanto eh. Alam mo si kaibigan natin si Attorney Badwell, abogado ng General Milling. Alam mo, ang abogado ng empleyado dito, taga-Ronda, si Attorney Sungkad. Si Attorney Ramel Sungkad, bagong graduate sa law, bagong kapasar ng bar, ako nag-hire sa kanya sa Pepsi Cola. Ngayon nasa Pepsi Cola pa rin siya. Ang sahod niya mga 150,000 a month na. May anak na rin siyang doktor. Pero itong si Bihar kasi, kapatid ng asawa ni Ramel Sungkad. Si Bihar ay empleyada ito ng General Milling. Ang problema dito, kasi kinumbay nila yung retirement at redundancy at walang criteria. At when you combine two concepts without having a criteria, if you are an employer, you are inviting an adverse reaction. Ang masama pang ginawa dito kay Bihar, yung kanyang table, halimbawa ngayon, sinerve yung notice. Sabi bukas, hindi ka na pwedeng pumasok. Yung computer mo, surrender mo. Hindi siya binigyan ng time na ma-unload niya yung mga personal files niya. Hindi siya binigyan ng panahon na makuha niya yung mga personal effects niya sa loob ng kanyang drawer na wala naman siyang charge of any anomalous action. So, si Ramel Sungkad, para mapatunayan doon sa kanyang mga in-laws na kaning mga taga-Ronda, dili basta-basta abogado. Kasi parang sobra kasing mayaman yung asawa ni Sungkad. Tapos itong yung kanyang sister-in-law, siya ngayon ang abogado. Alam mo, napanalo ni Atty. Ramel Sungkad ito sa Supreme Court. Nabigyan ng moral damages ito si Bihar, yung sister-in-law niya. Kaya sumikat siya sa kanyang in-law dahil sa kasong ito. Alam ko ito eh. This is the problem with management here is mixing the redundancy with retirement. You should decide which one will you use. Retirement, optional retirement, but you have to remember now. If you remember the case of University of Cebu, no? And also the case of Philippine Veterans Bank, where when the Supreme Court said that optional retirement means the option belongs to the employee, it does not belong to the employer. So if you have served the company for at least 5 years and you reach the age of 60, yan ha, mamilas ko 60 plus 5 years, no? The option, hindi yung company, hindi yung employer magsabi na we are exercising our option to retire you. That will become illegal dismissal. Ang ponente niyan si Justice Bersamin. Ang choice niyan belongs to the employee. If I say, ma'am, mag-retire na ako kasi I have served the company for at least 5 years and I have reached the age of 60. That is the choice that belongs to the employee, not the employer. No? Yan ang tandaan kasi akala nila dahil merong word na optional ay may option ang kumpanya. Ito, labor saving device. The position of regional cashier in Baguio City was abolished. And the incumbent of the position, hindi naman siya tinanggal, nilipat siya sa Makati. Sabi na, alisin na natin yung regional cashier kasi ngayon ay mga computerized na tayo, mga ATM na. So, hindi na kailangan may cashier tayo sa Baguio. Pwede lang i-deposit yan from Manila, then kunin ninyo sa Baguio. So, nilipat siya. And the Baguio post was not filled up by any replacement. No? Inabolish na nga. Paano mo Imbes na cashier, ang ginawa administrator. So iba ngayon ang function. Oh, ano yan? Legal ba yon o illegal? Sabi ng Supreme Court, that is a valid abolition of a senior position. And palitan na lang siya ng junior personnel with lesser salary. Pero siya, the incumbent, is not separated. He is transferred to Makati. Now, if he refused the transfer, that is his lockout. He was not dismissed. And that is not a constructive dismissal. So if he files a case based on this decision, he cannot win the case. Management will win. Management prerogative to install labor saving device. So instead of putting a person there, installing a system, software to replace the person is a valid exercise of installing labor-saving device. Ito, sa International Harvester McLeod, the ICITAN Department Store, no? Sa kaso ito ng Serrano versus NLRC, decided to abolish the existing organic security guards and checker section. I discussed that earlier. And that is a valid exercise of management prerogative. Dito sa McLeod, yung isang posisyon, kasi ang McLeod kasi is sila yung nagdi-distribute ng mga traktor, mga grader, mga kwantoy, mga giant machines ito mga multi-million machine ito. Ang kliyente nila yung gobyerno, public works, although ngayon contractor na kasi contractor na ngayon ang nagbe-build ng mga highways. During that time, ang gobyerno talaga ang ibenta mo sa gobyerno. So there is a position of government sales personnel that his talent is to establish good linkage with government. Later on, when the company decided to abolish that position because they could do selling without that person, that was questioned. And management was upheld by the Supreme Court as the abolition of position, although the function still remains, the position was abolished. That was a valid exercise. So sabihin mo, sir, paano yan? Ang function nandyan, pero ang position i-abolish. That function can be assigned to another person. No? And that is a valid management prerogative. No? Yeah, abolition of position. Change of sales process is also a management prerogative. Technology drives changes of business operation. In modern technology justifies the elimination of position. Installation of high-tech machine can justify the abolition of position. No? So retrenchment naman tayo. Bago tayo matapos 8:00. Retrenchment is different from redundancy because here there is always financial losses or there is an imminent loss that is trying to avoid because the law says to avoid serious financial losses. You can also undertake retrenchment even if losses have not been actually suffered. If there is a grave and an imminent danger of loss, to avoid that, no, preemptive measure by management, valid retrenchment program. No? So kailangan diyan i-present yung financial statement. but it is not absolute. This right or this prerogative is subject to the conditions that it is not a blatant, willful, and malicious intent. It is not motivated by malicious intent to violate security of tenure or to violate the right to self-organization. Pareho nung nangyari sa Carmel Craft. Si Carmen Yolo, ang may-ari ng Carmel Craft sa Laguna. Kung kailan nagtayo ng union, saka siya nag-declare ng retrenchment. Tapos ang kanyang loss ay wala pang 10,000 pesos. Meron siyang losses. Pero in the eyes of the law, ang tawag niya ng mga financial expert is de minimis. De minimis. Minimal lang yung losses na yan. And that cannot be the justification of retrenchment. And it is very apparent that the retrenchment in Carmel Craft was undertaken as an anti-union to avoid the union so that there will be no more company and therefore the union will cease to have a reason to exist. They abolished the company and declared closure of company. Now, that could have been a valid exercise of management prerogative if it was not targeted against the union. Yeah, it was colored by an anti-union motivation. The Supreme Court held that what is permanent retrenchment as opposed to temporarily off. Temporarily off kasi hindi naputol yung employer-employee relationship. Parang mag-boyfriend lang yun. Sabi, wala mo na taron. Parehong giingon sa Bisaya, wa sa taron. No? Wa sa taron. Ano? Suspended animation. Walang date, walang tawagan, walang text, wala. Because focus muna ako sa bar. So wag kang manggulo sa akin. No? Ngayon, after the bar, pwede tayong magbalikan, pwede ring hindi. No? But that is a temporarily off. Or temporarily off yan, nandoon pa rin, meron pa rin yung vinculum. The vinculum of relationship still exists, but the use of that relationship has been suspended. The thing exists, but it is not utilized. There is a suspension of the use of that relationship. So ito, valid justification for retrenchment. Number one, actual losses or imminent losses if it has not yet happened. Yan. Back of work, financial reverses, reduction in the volume of the business, reorganization made in good faith. Pero yung reorganization, ipunta mo na yan sa redundancy. Basta always inject the element of financial losses. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng mag-retrench pag walang financial losses eh. No? And the loss must be substantial. Hindi yung pareho sa Carmel Craft. Then substantial loss must be reasonably imminent. So ang una, substantial. Sunod, imminent. No? And pangatlo ay necessary. Sabi na, kailangan ba talaga nating magtanggal ng tao? Hindi ba pwedeng mag-suspend muna tayo ng purchases of expensive cars? Or hindi ba pwedeng i-suspend muna natin ang mga foreign travel? I-suspend muna natin yung mga seminar basta ma-avoid natin yung reduction of personnel. Because hindi pwedeng pag nag-save ka, ang personnel kaagad ang titirahin mo. Samantalang you are spending a lot of money in non-essential things. Alam nyo, Ma'am Crispy, nung naging presidente si Carlos P. Garcia, taga Bohol yun eh. Alam mo ang kanyang, he is remembered by history ano ang maalala mo kay Garcia? Yung austerity program. Austerity program. Yung mga supply sa opisina, kailangan yung bond paper back to back talaga yan. At saka hindi pwedeng mag-waste ng material. Kung ikaw, empleyado ka ng isang office, meron ka mag-requisition ka ng lapis, isauli mo yung lapis na naupos. Katong una ni mong lapis, isauli sa animo usa ka bago tagaang lapis. Ganon si Garcia eh. Austerity program yun eh. Ang asawa niya, taga Lapu-Lapu City, si Inday Lilang, di Mataga. Taga Talibon, Bohol yun eh. Si Carlos P. Garcia. So, kanang moingon din sa retrenchment na necessity. Necessity means that do not target the employee first. You use other cost saving before you go to reduction of personnel. No? Kasi parang taphaw ba nga pagkukunwari lang yan ng cost saving ka sa tao, magtanggal ka, pero luxurious naman yung lifestyle ng mga executive, no? Kailangan pag maiksi ang kumot, matutong mamaluktot, no? Kitang tanan we should share in the suffering. Hindi lang yung mga maliliit ang tanggalin natin. Yan. Kailangan na ang mga losses should be supported by financial documents, no? Yan. Ito sa kaso ni Genuino, invalid retrenchment. Bakit? Hindi ka nagbigay ng 30-day notice, hindi ka rin nagbayad ng separation fee. Anong klase yun? No? So, requirement yan eh. Una, retrenchment, magpakita ka ng ebidensya, substantial ang losses. Necessity, yung sinasabi ko, meron ng mnemonic device eh, yung sinabi ko kanina eh, na kailangan na substantial, S, sunod, imminent, I, pangatlo, necessary, N, tapos yung sunod dyan is must be serious business losses. Parang substantial din yun. Basta, una, substantial losses. Ano ba yung substantial losses? At least, na-eroded yung working capital mo by at least 50%. Mas substantial na ang losses mo. Iwan ko. Dr. Velasco, are you an accountant?
No, attorney. Hindi po.
Makaintindi yung substantial losses. In cases of retrenchment, actual losses are not essential. Kasi nga, if it is an imminent loss and you can demonstrate it by an accounting analysis, kailangan merong accounting analysis eh. Halimbawa, ang cost of labor natin, if we do not reduce the cost of labor, next year we will be losing. And then, naglaki ng lalaki ang losses natin. Ang makakapagpaliwanag lang yan, accountant lang. Hindi kaya ng abogado yan. In case, except kung CPA lawyer siya. Yan o. Number one. Anong number one? Retrenchment is necessary. Baliktad naman ito eh. Dapat number one, substantial. Number two, imminent. Number three, ang necessity para sin. Sin ang one. No? Substantial, imminent, necessary. Tapos, you have to follow the procedure. What is the procedure? 30-day advance notice. And then, good faith. In other words, wala kang anti-union objective. Hindi ka na nanarget against members of the union. Then, ang criteria mo must be fair and reasonable. Panghuli, you have to pay separation pay. No? Hindi pwedeng i-zero mo yan. Why did the Supreme Court upheld the validity of the retrenchment program in this company? Because they complied with the requirements, both the substantive and the procedural. Second, there is adequate proof of business losses. Separation pay was paid. There were notices sent 30 days in advance. Financial statement, this is to prove the business losses. And the employer was acting in good faith. You are presumed to be in good faith. Therefore, anybody who will say otherwise will have the burden to prove na you are anti-union. O sige, pakita nyo, anti-union. Tingnan natin, bilangin natin ilan yung natamaan. There are many. There are more people that are not members of the union. Ganun, that is how to demonstrate that you are not anti-union. Ito, redundancy ito. Hindi ito retrenchment. Because the employer has no legal obligation to keep more employees than are necessary. Kayo, alimbawa, kayong mga nakikinig sa akin, tulad ni Mr. Norman Forbes, pagka meron tayong desisyon, dapat meron tayong basis. At ang basis natin, itong mga desisyon ng Supreme Court. Pagka tayo gumawa ng desisyon na meron tayong excess personnel, ginawa natin yung stopping pattern of the old, stopping pattern of the new, there is an excess. And how did we determine the excess? There is a valid criteria. So, we are in good shape. Hindi tayo matalo. Kahit pa sila even if they file a case. Redundancy as defined by the Supreme Court in the case of Coca-Cola, Butlers, Philippine Inc. versus Del Villar. No? Yung employees who are in excess. No? A position is redundant. Yan. Based on superfluity. So you always use the word superfluous. The determination that the employee's services are no longer needed belongs to the company, belongs to the employer. So, the union cannot say, hindi kailangan pa yan eh. Oh, as between the word, kayo union, hindi naman kayo, you are not the one managing the company. We are the one. So the law gives that decision to us, not to you. And that is not even negotiable. That cannot be negotiated. The wisdom or soundness is not subject to discretionary review. That has been repeated. No? It is not enough for the company to declare that it has become overmanned. The company must produce adequate proof to justify the termination of employment. Alam nyo, ang Supreme Court minsan mali din ang English eh. Kasi pagka-authorize ko, so huwag kayong gumamit ng word na dismissal. Because dismissal presupposes an act that has been committed by the employee, which constitutes just cause. So, if you use redundancy and retrenchment, that is not dismissal. That is separation or termination. That is the proper term. 5 minutes na tayo, attorney. Huwag ka mag-alala, attorney. No? Para man ka naghigwaos ka na. Yan o, paulit-ulit yan ha. Stopping pattern, facility studies, proposal to create new position, job description. So when you amend the job description, that means that under the old stopping pattern, yung job description has minimal responsibility. Now you have increased the responsibility by adding more duties and responsibilities and also increasing the job grade. So halimbawa, Ma'am Crispy, meron kang job grade, dalawang job grade 6. Kinumbine mo yan. Ang function ng dalawang posisyon, ginawa mo lang isang tao. Pero yung inassignan mong posisyon ngayon, itinaas mo rin ang job grade. Because if you do not do that, you violate the principle of equal pay for equal work. Halimbawa, Ma'am Crispy, sabihin sa iyo ni Mr. Didi Gulyas, sabi, Ma'am Crispy, yung trabaho mo as Student Affairs Director, ilump natin doon sa Alumni Director. So isa na lang yan. Student Affairs, yung mga nandito pa, at saka yung alumni, combine na yan, pero yung sahod mo, dublihin ko. Papayag ka. Siyempre, kayang-kaya mo yan kasi imbes yung mga tao ng, sino ba yung mga tao dyan sa alumni, magiging tao mo rin yun. Pero magkaroon ngayon ng redundancy. No, imbes na meron silang 5 tao doon, tapos ikaw meron kang 10 tao, 15 na. Gawin mo na lang na 12, merong mawala na 3, no? So you can do that, no? And that is a valid exercise. Merger yan eh. Ito na lang ang huli kong sabihin. Mergers and consolidation. Kung pwedeng mag-merge ang dalawang bangko, Far East Bank at saka BPI, pwede rin mag-merge yung dalawang unit in the same company. I-merge mo yung librarian at saka yung research. No? Halimbawa, sabihin tayo, magtipid tayo. Yung director ng research at saka yung library, pag-isahin na lang natin, pwede yun. No? Basta i-approve ng Board of Trustees. Pero gagawa ka ngayon ng bagong stopping pattern. Ito sa Bank of PI kasi, in bank ito, decided ang kwan dito si Leonardo de Castro. Pero nag-dissenting opinion si Arturo Brion na in the original decision of the Supreme Court, they were agreeing on assets, yung mga land, real estate, ng lahat ng real estate ng Far East Bank becomes the property of Bank of PI upon payment of just compensation. Alam ba yung tag-iya ng Far East Bank, ang original taga Cebu yan, mga Gutchanoy family yan eh. Yung may-ari ng yung Gutchauco building doon sa City Hall. May-ari ng Far East Bank. Pero meron silang enumeration sa mga asset, pero nakalimutan nila ang tao. What happens to the people? And si Justice Brion nagsabi sa kanyang dissenting opinion that under the Private Corporation Code, when there is mergers of 2 corporations, the non-surviving corporation, all the assets and the liabilities of the non-surviving corporation shall be absorbed by the surviving. And that includes personnel. And so the security of tenure of the people should not be put on a legal limbo. Para bang kalag ba na wala ka mapuntahan, di ka makapunta sa langit, dili rin sa imperno. O saan ka na lang, maglutaw-lutaw na lang ng kalagan ng mga tao kasi nasa limbo sila. So ang sabi ni Brion, huwag mong ilagay sa legal limbo ang security of tenure ng mga empleyado. And they are considered absorbed by BPI. Ngayon, after absorbing, kung mag-declare ng redundancy ang BPI, it's okay. Basta it will follow the correct criteria. So, ganun yan. And because it's already 8 o'clock in the evening, I say thank you to all of you, and I hope that you got